Hey there, this is our Slack policy, and if you didn't know, Notion was actually originally marketed as the other half of Slack. So Slack is the notification or the communication platform that we use. Notion is all the documentation and function that we need to use it with. So within the Slack, it should be what replaces emails. We don't want to rely on the old school email. We want to rely on something that's instantaneous. We can give immediate feedback, and this policy kind of tells you exactly what you're supposed to know. I'm not going to go through all of this word for word, but when you get a chance, read this on your own and it will make sense how to make the most out of Slack. But first off, please make sure that you set up your entire profile. That includes a profile picture as well as a description. That makes it easy for us to find you and make sure that you're in the right channels, kind of thing. Which is the next point. Make sure you're in the right channels. Depending on your role, you'll have either just the general channels, which I'll show you here shortly, or you'll have the role-specific channels like marketing, operations, or sales. So whatever role you're responsible for, make sure that you're in those channels. Additionally, notifications. While Slack is instantaneous, that can also be a distraction. So make sure that you mute your notifications outside of work hours. We don't want to be waking you up at 6:30 when you're trying to rest up for those work hours. So make sure that you set your notifications to do not disturb and have a focus time set, which I'll show you here shortly. Keeping it going. When we get into the actual demo, you'll see what threads are and how to use emojis. Very simple way to keep the conversations organized without getting a little bit overwhelmed. So when chatting about a specific topic, try to keep that topic to a single chat thread. That way you can go back to that thread and see basically everything that was talked about from a glance. Likewise, avoid group DMs because, well, you guys might know what's going on. We want to build in public. We want to talk about that in public so that we don't have to come to a meeting and waste time. Kind of makes sense. So keeping it going, I'll try to be a little quicker. It's just a policy about talking to each other. You know how that goes. So we have 6 standard emojis that you should use to make sure that your colleagues and who you're talking to aren't confused. First up, we have got it. It means you understood what is being talked about and nothing else really needs to happen. If you have something that's requested of you, we have the eyeballs that are looking into this. On the opposite side, if you're not able to look into it right then, we have coming back to this so that you can always come back to it. And that lets me know or whoever know that you're going to come back to this and it's not quite addressed right now. Likewise, we have 2 good stuffs because we talk about a lot of good stuff. Figure we should have something in there to reference that. So we have the hands emoji and the muscles. Feel free to use whichever one is more fitting. And finally up we have thank you. So all of these allow us to communicate within light speed and not really wait for somebody to give us an answer. Just allows us to work, document inside of Notion, and then keep all of those conversations to the proper channel so that nothing gets lost. And that's about it for the policy. Go read this on your own if you're curious about any of the specifics and how to maximize it, as well as some of the other policies that go with this one, such as the how we do our best work and how we do meetings. Those are both very effective if you're trying to communicate. So moving it on over to the demo, you'll see a lot of stuff. And when I first started Slack, I got a little bit overwhelmed because there's a lot of stuff. But if you understand Notion, and even if you don't, it kind of makes sense once you understand either of them. So on the left, you'll see a couple bars. First up, we have the workspace. Similar to Notion on how you can have a specific workspace for the productive path, and then you can have one for yourself, and then you can have a separate one for your resources. Inside of Slack, you can have a different community or a different workspace for every community group or business that you're a part of. You can even invite external suppliers or businesses to your group. You can see them all right here in a row. On the inside of that, you'll see the sidebar. That separates the communication into separate areas. At home, that's where you have all the different channels where you have a concerted conversation about a certain topic, and that list was in the policy if you're curious about that as well. So you have home, which houses all the conversation as a group. You even have the DMs down here if you want to go see those as well. But you can also go directly to those DMs over here and see everything that you were talking one-on-one. It also includes group DMs, but we're not using those, so don't worry about that. Activity, it shows you anything that's happened, whether that be a notification, a tag, an at me, or anything like a reaction. Anything that you're referenced to, you'll see that come up in the activities, such as a reply to a thread. I'll show you that here soon. You have the save for later, so if you want to come over here, you can save this specific chat, view it over here, and then whenever you're ready, you can mark that as complete and say that you did that. Sort of like a task list inside of Notion, but if it's just something to read, you can save it very simply over there. And any files that you send between Slack, you'll see those specifically in the file section, or you can always view them in the channel or the message where you sent them. So moving it over to the actual chat, in each of these channels you have a description on top that tells you what to talk about. For example, general content is related to any content that doesn't have a better space. And because everybody joins this one when they first get into Slack, that can be a good place to just promote something like our Gmail filters or something like that to make sure that we're all on the same page for our AI music or something like that. That doesn't really need a specific join request. You know, everybody can listen to our AI music. It's great. Why not? Talk about it, share it with your friends, and do it again. So based on what channel you're in, you know to talk about a topic by the description on top. I can edit the description, admins can edit the description, or anybody can find what the reason for is by simply scrolling to the top or just hopping in and seeing what people are talking about. You'll see here that using an @ symbol, you can reference other people, let them know that I just posted this, and ask them a question. Can you think of any way to make this hit better? We talked about this in a call right after that, so this isn't the best example. But down below you can see I also tagged another member so that she was able to see it. While she was part of the content, while she was part of that channel, she probably didn't see it because I only tagged Ahmed over here. So to be sure she saw that, I wanted to tag her and make sure that she found those same filters useful like I did. And down below you can kind of see how, or when you're hovering over these messages, you'll see a bunch of settings pop up. You have those reaction emojis like I talked about, but you can also find any emoji within the entire thing, and we can even create custom emojis if you're good like that. So if you have something you want to add to the productive pathway, feel free to put it in here. But for us, we're going to be using that reply in thread feature a lot. We want to make sure that anything that is the same topic gets talked about right there, but if there's something that you want to send to the entire channel, you can also just click that checkbox to send it, and it'll go directly to the channel, but also still be in that thread. So while you're replying to something, you can send it to the main channel for if you need. And then aside from that, it is just a normal chat platform. So you have the text editing, bold, italics, strike through. You can post links, you can hyperlink, use bullet points, numbered lists, basically most of the stuff that you can see in standard chat communication platforms. So if you want to add an attachment, you can upload it directly from here. You can @ people using @channel. If you want to notify anybody that's part of this channel, you can do @everyone, or if you do everyone, it does not work in any channel outside of general. So you can do everyone over here and it'll notify everybody. But what you can do instead inside the channels is do @here. So it notifies anybody that's online to come look at this channel, so you can either hop into a call or notify anybody in real time so that they don't speak something that they shouldn't be with the client or anything like that. So this is Slack in general. This is how we use it in the productive path, and there you have it. That's how we use Slack inside the productive path. Get in there, use it a little bit, and play around with it, and look at some of those settings that I didn't talk about, because once you start using it, you'll see how powerful this is, and you'll find little tricks like you like doing, using lightning emoji to show people that it's high speed or something like that. So get in there and play around with it. It will make sense the more that you use it, but if you have any questions, reach out to somebody and we'll be able to point you in the right direction. And one last thing before we go, when you get in here, move up to the productive path up here, head over to the preferences section, and then make sure that you adjust your notifications like I mentioned. We want to allow notifications during work hours so that you get those and you're not going to be missed, but you also want to have your own focus time. So go through these preferences, make sure that they're set up in the way that it doesn't distract you and minimizes all the other noise. So I hope this makes sense, and I hope to see you in Slack. Let's do this.